Welcome back to
Cox Family Cooking.
I'm Stephanie.
And I'm Olivia.
And today we're going to make our Mexican street corn, which is one of Olivia's favorite things on Taco Tuesday. So to get started, what do we need to do, Olivia?
So first we need one large baking tray, cover it with aluminum foil.
Okay. And then what else do we do?
And then next we preheat our oven for 400 degrees.
Yep. Okay, and then what I have in here while the oven's preheating is just a bowl, a mixing bowl, and I have 20 ounces of frozen sweet corn, or about 4 cups that I've just put in here. And then I'm gonna take my extra virgin olive oil and really just cover this in olive oil. So you want it to be well coated. So depending on your corn, it can be a decent amount. So what I just do is I pour some in and then I just stir it until it looks like it's all well coated. So you want it to be all kind of coated in that olive oil with a little bit of glimmer, and that's because the next ingredients we're gonna add, we're gonna want to stick to it. All right, so it looks like this is all coated. So we got it all mixed around. So what do we add next to it, Olivia?
So next we add 1 teaspoon of salt.
Okay, and she's using kosher salt. And also this corn is still frozen, so we're gonna cook it frozen. Perfect, so Olivia's using our kosher salt.
And when you're adding the kosher salt, you want to make sure you cover the corn fully.
So she's just shaking it out in the bowl to make sure she covers the corn. And then what else do we add next?
And then we add 1 teaspoon of paprika.
Okay, perfect, let me get that for you. And you're gonna start with 1 teaspoon of paprika. You might actually end up adding more, and we'll talk about that in just a second. So once again, what are you doing?
Shaking it all over the corn.
Perfect, and you wanna go ahead and mix that up for us? Oh, we almost forgot. We need a couple cracks of black pepper. So you keep mixing while I'll do that. And you just put a little bit of black pepper to taste. Okay, so what she's doing is she's just mixing all the salt and the paprika together. Okay, and what you'll notice, let's show them this, is it still looks pretty like corn. It's not very coated in paprika, and we like paprika in this family. So if you don't, 1 teaspoon's good, but if you like it better, and more, all I'm gonna do is now shake some out, and I'm just gonna keep shaking it out and mixing it in. So go ahead and stir that up until we get it like a little bit of an orange coating on the corn. And to me, that just helps it roast better. All right. Okay, so maybe a little bit more. And then that should be good. And at this time, you'll also wanna check and make sure you don't need to add any more olive oil, because we want to make sure it's fully coated. All right, that looks really good. You want to show them how it looks? Okay. All right, so you can now see it's going to have this nice orange hue to it, or a little bit red. And then all we're going to do is take it and put it on our sheet. So let's go ahead and get that dumped out for everyone. And then do you want to teach them the trick for how you spread it out? Yeah? Okay. One fun fact about this, you will notice the outside of your bowl will get very cold, and sometimes your corn will stick to the bowl. So you might have to kind of break a couple of them loose. All right, and then Olivia is just gonna take her spoon, as you guys can see now, and she's just using it to flatten down the corn. So you wanna try and get the corn out on a single layer as much as possible. And once you've done that, you're gonna pop it in the oven for 35 to 40 minutes on 400 degrees. And then once you're done, you'll take it out and we'll do step 2, which is the great mixture we're gonna put together in just a few minutes. So let's go to the oven. All right, we're ready to make the second part of our Mexican street corn. So to get started, I have my bowl back again that I've rinsed out, and I'm gonna add in 3 tablespoons, or medium spoons, however you wanna call them, of mayonnaise. And this is actual mayonnaise, not Miracle Whip. And then to that, I'm gonna add the same amount, so 3 tablespoons or 3 kind of medium scoopfuls of sour cream. And then you can add 1 tablespoon of lime juice. So you can either use the stuff in the jar, or you can do a fresh lime and add that in, but this works just the same. Okay, we're gonna add that. And then what's next, Olivia?
So the recipe calls for 1 teaspoon of chili powder, but we like spice, so we're gonna do more than 1 teaspoon.
Okay. Yes, like she said, 1 teaspoon is the recipe, but if you like it a little bit spicier like we do here, you're gonna wanna add a little bit more. So I always recommend starting with 1 or 1.5 and then adding some more, but we're gonna go ahead and add 2 to get started. Okay. So once we've added that, we're just gonna stir it up, and then we have one last ingredient before we add the corn. What's that, Olivia?
So we grated 8 ounces of cotija cheese.
Yep, so that's just queso cotija cheese that we just finely grated. And after we get this all mixed up, we're gonna pour that in. So here's my little secret. After you mix up the sour cream, mayonnaise, lime juice, and chili powder, give it a little taste and see if it's spicy enough for you. We need a little bit more spice. So we're gonna go ahead and add, let's do another half a teaspoon of chili powder to ours. And you wanna make sure you flavor that before you put the cotija in. Yep, that should be good. We like it a little spicy. Okay. Now, you also may want to add a little bit of salt to this mixture, but don't forget that you salted your corn that's currently roasting. So I always say wait a little bit till the end before you add salt because you want to get that mixed in with your corn. Okay. A little bit more. Let's do another half a teaspoon. So we're adding 3 teaspoons today. We're a little bit spicier than normal. All right. Okay, go ahead and dump that in. This should be good. And Lily, you want to grab that cotija cheese that we've grated? And all we're going to do, let me show you what this mixture looks like before we put the cotija in. So it just has a nice kind of light pink red color to it. And then we're going to add in, yep, all the cotija cheese. So, yep, just do it. Okay, use your hand. Okay. Perfect. And then we're gonna mix that together. And the one thing that you'll notice is it's gonna get a little clumpy. That's okay. Because after this is done, we are going to add in the corn once it's done. And you're gonna add that roasted corn from the oven straight while it's hot. You're gonna pour it out of the oven, it's gonna go straight into this bowl. And then it's gonna melt some of that cotija cheese. So this is what it should look like when it's all done before you add the corn. So now we're just waiting for the corn to get done and then we'll add that as our next step. All right, so our corn has been in the oven at 400 degrees for how long, Olivia?
About 40 minutes.
So, and it's all nice and roasted, so you can see it's changed color, it's browned up a little bit in some parts, but definitely not burned. So now we're gonna take it, and I just use a spatula to help scoop it in. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. And then once you get all of your corn scooped in your bowl, you're gonna mix it up and do a final test just to make sure you don't need any more salt and pepper. And then once that's done, you're gonna wanna serve it up. And we like to eat it warm, don't we? But it also tastes really good reheated. So let me show you what that's gonna look like in just a second. So we got it all mixed together. So when you see it, you're gonna see that cotija cheese is starting to melt. It's gonna look just like this. And then what you're gonna do is serve it up, and if it needs a little bit more salt, I personally love using flake salts on top of it as a little special surprise on each individual serving. And that's how you make our what?
Our street corn.
So our Mexican street corn. So thanks for joining us on
Another episode of the Cox Family Cooking.
I'm Stephanie.
And I'm Olivia.
We'll see you next time.